Hey there, Denver area home buyers. Are you getting ready to purchase a property in Denver or the surrounding area in the next 12 to 18 months and are super confused about the documentation that you need, or just have questions about what you're going to need when you apply for your mortgage? This video is for you. Hey there everybody, my name is Carl Eschenberg and I'm with the Living in Denver team. And in today's video, we're gonna dive into the required documentation to successfully apply for a mortgage in today's market. So whether you're a first-time home buyer or a seasoned professional, having the right documentation ready ahead of time can make the mortgage application process super smooth, and actually just helps your entire home buying process go smooth, because the documents that we're gonna talk about today are actually required at different parts of the process. Some are required at the very beginning when you apply, and some are gonna be required towards the end when you're getting your final approval. And that's when things can get a little bit stressful, so we're gonna do everything we can to avoid that for you. So there's 7 things that you're really gonna need to apply for a mortgage. Now, by no means is this going to be an exhaustive list of everything that could possibly come up in a mortgage application or a mortgage approval process, but we're gonna touch on the main things to make sure that you're super prepared and that everything goes really smooth for you. Okay, so first we're gonna talk about the basic documentation, and this is pretty straightforward stuff. This is the stuff that everybody talks about all the time. So when you reach out to a loan officer to apply for a mortgage, you're gonna need a few things: your proof of income, and that can be in the form of W-2s, paycheck stubs, tax returns. For self-employed folks, it's typically 1099s and or P&Ls. So you want to make sure that you have those things prepared ahead of time so that you're not scrambling to find them. And then proof of assets. So this is going to be not only cash on hand, but also investments. So your lender might ask for things like 2 months of your bank statements. They could also ask for copies of savings account statements, investment accounts, and retirement accounts. So you want to make sure that you have those things ahead of time, just to make sure that you've got all your I's dotted and T's crossed, and you're not scrambling around trying to get things when you need them. And then of course, credit history. So this isn't anything that you necessarily need to do. However, what I always suggest with clients is to make sure that you at least pull it and take a look at things so that you know what's on there. If there's something that's on there that you can that you didn't know about that you might need to take care of before you get approved for the mortgage, it's better to know in the beginning, early stages, than it is once you've applied and have the lender come back. So most lenders will do what's called a tri-merge credit report. That is a blended report from Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. So if you can take a look at those 3 and make sure that everything looks good and your score is where it needs to be, you'll be ahead of the game. Anything that needs to be fixed, you can jump on that right away, and then they'll take care of pulling that report at the time of your mortgage application. Okay, so that's the basic documentation. Now, I know we just covered a lot of information and we went through it pretty quick. So if you have any questions, don't ever hesitate to reach out. We are licensed real estate brokers in the state of Colorado. So if you need any questions answered on this or any of the other videos or anything real estate related at all, you can call, text, or email us at the information on your screen, or just scan the QR code and we'll be happy to answer any of your questions personally. We do answer all comments, emails, texts, and phone calls personally. We want to make sure to get you the information that you need to really empower you to win in this very, very competitive marketplace. All right, let's jump back in and we'll talk about specific documentation that's kind of situational. Now, once you have that basic documentation collected and organized, you're basically good to go for your application process. They may ask for additional documents, but those are the basics. Now, depending on your situation, they may ask for additional documentation, and we're gonna go through a few of the more common things that we see. Just in case these fit your situation, you can make sure that you have these ahead of time as well. One of the things that people tend to be surprised about sometimes is some lenders will actually reach out to your employer to confirm your employment status. They'll check into things like job status, job stability, your income, and things like that. It's really just to make sure that your job status is on par with what you stated in your application, and they can reserve the right to do that at any time. So depending on your employment history, this may be something that comes up. So you may want to have a conversation with your boss, HR, or things like that to find out exactly how that process works for your employer, just in case. The next thing that is situationally dependent is if you haven't owned a property recently, or if you've never owned a property, a home, a rental history is something that may be requested. And at a very minimum, lenders will just verify with your landlord. So whether there's a documented rental history or if they just have landlord references, this is going to be an important thing to have ahead of time. If you've moved recently and you've rented multiple properties in the last year or 2 years, I'd encourage you to have your landlord contact information handy for any properties that you've rented in the past couple of years, just so that you have that reference list available for easy access to the lender. So this isn't just some random thing that lenders do. What they're really looking for is they're looking for your ability to handle housing related expenses in a responsible manner. So just like they're looking for job stability, they're also looking for payment stability and housing related expense stability on the properties that you've lived in. Another thing that may come up depending on your situation are gift letters. Depending on the mortgage that you get and depending on the current circumstances and the requirements of the lender that you're working with, I know that's a lot of variables, but those are the variables that matter. Sometimes a lender is going to require what's called a gift letter. So if you're using a gift from someone and you can't demonstrate that you've had that money for an extended period of time, it's called seasoned assets or seasoned funds, then they're gonna ask you for a gift letter because they need a paper trail of where the money came from so that they understand the full financial picture. So let's say you have a relative that gives you something on your wedding day and it's part of your down payment for your house. Your lender may require a letter from that person stating that they gave you that as a gift. There is no repayment required. It's really a matter of just a paper trail on the money and making sure that you don't owe anyone that money. And then finally, depending on your situation, some banks will require divorce documentation and or child support documentation, and in some cases both. When assets change hands during a divorce, it's important for them to understand your full financial picture because that can drastically change things, whether it's child support alimony that's owed, whether it's child support alimony that's received, or whether it's marital assets like a home, vacation properties and things like that. They really need to understand clearly what your financial situation is. And in the midst of a divorce or recently after a divorce, the public paper trail may not be that accurate. So they'll ask for the court order documentation so that they have a legally binding document that says, this is what you have, this is what you owe, this is what you have, this is what you make. All those things combined give them a really accurate snapshot of the situation and allow them to better position you for approval, better interest rates, better terms, and things like that. All right, there you have it. 7 things that you'll need when applying for a mortgage. Again, so this isn't an all-inclusive, exhaustive list of everything that you could possibly need during your mortgage application process, but it is a great start. If we did that, this video would be so boring. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. You can drop us a comment, email us, text us, or call us, and we'd be happy to help you. And we also do offer a free Denver home buyer guide. It's a comprehensive guide to buying a home in Denver or the surrounding area, and it has a checklist of everything you'll need for your mortgage application process. You can text home buyer to the number on your screen or just scan that QR code. We'll send it to you for free, and we'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have once you have a chance to go through it. We get a lot of great feedback on it, so hopefully it's helpful for you as well. If you're thinking about buying a house or selling a house in Denver or the surrounding areas in the next 12 to 18 months, think about subscribing and turning on notifications. We publish videos like this weekly to help keep you super informed, up to date, and current on what's actually changing in the market. It gives you a competitive advantage. And as always, the goal of these videos is not only to help you feel empowered, but actually to empower you to be in a position to win in the incredibly competitive Denver real estate market. All right, well, we'll be posting our next video next week. So in between now and then, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, anything real estate related, or if you just absolutely positively have to get out to look at houses, my name's Carl Eschenberg, and I'd love to show you around town.